All right, this is for a user. Thank you for asking. There's a touring band that's rolling through, and you want to open a touring act, whatever it is. This spans across all genres. This is definitely the goal. If you are just playing and inviting all of your friends out to a bar or a small venue, then how you're perceived in that room is definitely different than if you're supporting a larger touring act and playing in front of their fans. That is the best way to get fans. Now, before I get into it, if you guys stop playing in your hometown and you say, you kind of build up what we call event mentality, where the next show that you're going to play is an event, whether it's an EP release, maybe you're going to put out a single, maybe you're just done playing for a little bit, you're going into the studio, going into the rehearsal studio, getting new material, and you're just going to come out like hot. You know, that's your big thing. How many people can you get into a room? And I ask that a lot, and it's surprising what people say to me. The average number is maybe 120 to 200. And if you can do 120 to 200 on that one special gig and then not play again in your hometown and not bother your friends and your hometown fans for another 6 months maybe, you can play, take that sheet, the promoter will give you a sheet, kind of saying how many people came, what the tally was, how much your payout was, and just straight up cold call the bigger venues in your city and say, hey, we want to support a bigger touring act when they come through. We just did, 200 people at, the Mint or whatever it is, whatever the venue is. You will now just kind of be in their system. They're not going to reach out to you when a bigger band comes through, but you're kind of in their system now, and then you can reach out anytime an act comes through that you want to open for. That is number one. Now, this was a little bit more specific. There's an act that's already coming through, it's already booked, and these guys want to open. This is a little tricky, and the reason that it's a little tricky is when a band goes on tour, sometimes it's a package. Excuse me. Sometimes it's a package. So for the whole tour, the support is already laid out. It's usually something that has to do with the management, like a band that's new for the management company. They want to start getting them out on the road and in front of people, or label mates, something like that. So if that's the case, you're probably not going to be able to get in for that specific show. Now, if they don't have all the support set, what they'll do is they'll get a hold of every promoter in each city and ask them, say, we need a local band, local support for each one of our dates. Then you can submit to that promoter, and the bigger venues tend to be like Live Nation, unless Philly, we have a lot of large venues that are run by smaller independent companies, which is great. But you get a hold of them, and then you say you want to play. They'll ask how many tickets you could sell. Guys, just give them a call. Really go for it. Don't be afraid to keep getting in contact with them. These people have millions of emails a day of people that want gigs. So you're going to have to break through that. Don't just email them once and say, whatever. Okay, I guess it's done. All right, so trying to get in with that promoter, say you really want to open the show, tell them you can get 50 to 75 people out for the show, 100 people out, 200, whatever you think you can really do. If you just say, this is our big show, we finally got in front of this band, these fans that are awesome, at this awesome venue, everybody come out, all right, and then don't bother anybody for 6 months after that. That is also how you do it. Now, there is one other avenue that I do recommend you guys start immediately for whatever genre and whatever artist it is that you want to open for. Now, obviously, if you want to open for Ed Sheeran, everybody does. And that is going to, I don't want to say be impossible, to tell you the truth. Crazier shit has happened. But let's just focus on stuff that's a little bit more attainable. Just because I do recommend doing some wild stuff, and I don't know, DMing some really famous people with your cover of their song once a day, if you covered an Ed Sheeran song in a cool way, maybe on the beach in Santa Monica and got it filmed, having that video and DMing him that every single day for a year just to see what happens. I recommend stuff like that. I think it's fun. But so anyway, what I do recommend you guys starting now is developing a relationship with the manager of these groups and artists that you want to open for. Some people that are a little bit smaller. Just get a hold of them. Now, it can start with this particular show. If they're coming through and you want to open the show, email the manager and just straight up, just be as straight as possible. If you can't get that many people out, if you feel like, you know, what I usually do is there's a couple bands that roll through Philly that I know they're going to sell at the venue. So I'm upfront in my email saying, you don't really need us to open. We're not going to help you out at all, but you would be helping us out so much by kind of letting us open. We have an album coming out. You know, that kind of way, being really honest, and that you're a fan of the band, but don't go overboard with, like, you know, super fanism, because it can be a little weird. It can be a little creepy. So that show, you know, you email them and you say, we can bring this many people out, you know, blah, 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 the whole deal. You would be really helping us out. We have an EP coming out. Do not send a gigantic paragraph. Make it nice, short, and concise. You don't even really mention, tell them you can bring a bunch of people out, but don't mention the number, and don't really even mention like a bullet point resume of what it is that you've done so far. You know, if you want to slip one or two things in the short paragraph, that's fine. But don't send them a press kit, because that definitely won't work. And send that email a few times. Send it every couple days, you know, until you get some sort of a reply. And then from there, start building a little bit of a relationship, you know, saying that you're fans. Say thank you for replying, even though it was a no. I recommend getting an edible arrangements and sending it to the office, you know, with your artist name or your band. And then once you develop a relationship, the next time that band rolls through, you can snag an opening spot. This business is really about relationships, more so than it is about numbers and tickets. Promoters will only really care about the numbers and tickets and stuff like that, but everything else is pretty much based on relationships. I know there was my buddy was working for this band. I can't remember what their name is. God, I can't remember what their name was. But they were on tour. He was working with Motorhead and Misfits were opening up. So Misfits were on tour with Motorhead. And for whatever reason, the Misfits had pissed Lemmy off. So Lemmy just kicked him off the tour. And because they had gone out and had a fun night drinking in Nashville, I think it was, or maybe it was L.A., he just invited this band on. He needed a band immediately, you know what I mean? And he was just like, oh, those guys were fun, you know, they're friendly, you know, let's have them on. And this band that usually tours to, you know, 200 to 300 people were playing, you know, in front of Motorhead, just simply based on relationships. So do all of that stuff to try to get on the show, but I think most importantly, it's going to be about building relationships with the managers and the management companies and the labels of people that you want to specifically work with, and then that'll turn into something that's a little easier to communicate. Because I've done it, and when the bands roll through, you know, almost now it's just like, and they're like, no, it's like, or yeah, actually, you know what, we'll throw you out. Actually, right now there's a band, I'm trying to get on a 6-day tour with them in May, and it looks possible, but it wouldn't have been if we didn't have a previous relationship with them. So I hope that helps. There's a lot of information there, a lot of stuff that I'd like you guys to start, especially you youngins. I have a lot of young teen followers that are getting all into this stuff. So good luck, guys. I love you. I'll see you later.